Now, let's move to the USA. In 2 weeks before the election, it seems Donald Trump is being even more outspoken than usual. Yesterday, he criticised cable network CNN for going on about COVID-19 when everyone was tired of hearing about it, he says. He called them, and I'm going to quote here, dumb bastards for doing so. Let's find out the latest on the campaign trail from Simon Marks in Washington. Simon, I mean, this is astonishing. You know, it's not just exceptionally rude, but I would say unseemly and very worrying coming from the President of the United States speaking about the media.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is a President, Sally, of course, that is no stranger to assaulting America's First Amendment, the constitutional right to freedom of speech and the operation of a free press here. He has routinely referred to journalists as the enemy of the people, a phrase much more usually associated in history with repressive authoritarian governments than governments here in the United States. It wasn't just CNN that he went after yesterday. He accused the Reuters White House correspondent Jeff Mason of being a criminal for refusing, the president asserted, to cover a story that was published last week here by the New York Post, alleging all sorts of nefarious activities by Joe Biden and his son Hunter, a story that no other news organization has yet been able to verify. Indeed, we learnt yesterday that Fox News had declined to publish the story because they viewed it as being so suspect. It was being shopped around by the president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who himself has already in the past been on the receiving end of Russian misinformation that he has put into the public domain here. President Trump insists, despite the questions that continue to get raised about that story, that it proves that Joe Biden is leading an organized crime family, and he took to Fox News this morning to insist that his own Attorney General William Barr must immediately begin a criminal investigation of the Biden family, and it must conclude and report back to the American public before Election Day in exactly 2 weeks' time. There has been no word from the Department of Justice on this, although William Barr has previously said that neither Joe Biden nor Barack Obama are currently the focus of any kind of criminal probe here. But it gives you a sense of where Donald Trump is taking this conversation with 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, and he's not stopping with his criticism of top COVID advisor Anthony Fauci. He's called him a disaster, but says it would be a bigger problem to fire him. What is the response to these astonishing statements coming from Donald Trump? Is there much of a response, or is everyone sort of used to it by now?
No, there is a response. I mean, Dr. Fauci personally pushed back today and said, look, I'm just trying to do my job and present clear scientific advice and evidence to the American public, and that's what I'm going to get on doing. Dr. Fauci, by the way, now has to have security protection because he's been on the receiving end of so many death threats from supporters of President Trump who have been ginned up by some of the rhetoric that the president has been using about a man who is America's most respected public health official. The reaction from Republicans to all of this is privately to express grave concerns that they fear the party is on the brink of a massive defeat, not just in the race for the presidency, but also in the race to retain control of the United States Senate. But one Republican senator, Ben Sasse of Nebraska, has publicly broken with the president and told reporters last week, he listed a whole array of different areas where he faulted the president, and he told supporters last week that he feared that the party was heading towards a bloodbath in the polls.
I just have to get your the latest news from you on this news story that's just come to our attention, that tech giant Google has been accused of trying to exert a monopoly over search engines. This accusation by the Justice Department. It's a massive antitrust case, and apparently the biggest since the monopoly accusations against Microsoft in the 1990s. Tell us more.
Yeah, this is a very big deal for Alphabet, the parent company of Google, which is rejecting this claim that is being advanced now by the US Department of Justice, which says that Google has used its market power essentially to establish a monopoly, particularly in terms of the negotiations that it's had with hardware manufacturers, making sure that when you first buy that computer and boot it up and you go to search the internet, Google comes up on the screen. It also says that it's used its monopoly power against advertisers in a bid to secure ongoing business. I mean, this is a very interesting move by the Department of Justice because it's one of those rare areas where the interests of some Republicans and some Democrats intersect. Democrats like Senator Elizabeth Warren, when she was running for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination, said she wanted to break up the monopoly power of many of these tech companies, not only Google but also Facebook and others. And this is a very clear shot across Google's bows. The company rejecting the allegations that are being made here by the Department of Justice, calling the case against them deeply flawed. But it gives you a hint of potential trouble ahead for at least one tech conglomerate.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Simon Marks, coming to us live from Washington this evening.